wisdom rather than just information. Children live in such a world full of possibilities. If they learn how to listen to their own intuition, genius would be common. As we grow older, our modern lifestyle overloads us with information and stresses our mind, which obscures this innate intuitive capacity. The art of living, Pragya Yoga, for children between 5 to 18 years old helps kindle this intuitive ability and builds confidence to act on their gut feelings.
Each per testarlo. 3. Passion fruit.
Children are, as it is, very intuitive, and just like when you listen to the radio, what do? You just tune into the right frequency to listen to the right FM channel. The same way we help children to tune into that right frequency, and thereby their intuitive abilities come up.
Our knowledge of the world usually comes from the 5 senses. In this program, we train the children to go beyond the 5 senses and tap into the 6th sense.
After intuition process, I have become less restless and my concentration power has become much more. It has also improved the way I play different kinds of sports.
I can't explain it in words, but there's such a deep change in the child, deep within.
This is the first time we did intuition process. My impression after the first day was a complete shock. I never expected such a result in just after one day.
Einstein said, "Intuition is a sacred gift and reason is a faithful servant." We have created a society which throws away the gift and honors the servant.
All breakthroughs in science have been because of some intuitive idea, some intuitive thought. And if you ask the scientist, if you ask somebody like Ramanujan, where did you get these theorems from? He was like, I couldn't tell you, but it's true. He would just write down these theorems.
It is brown.
Okay, good. Anything else?
It's a bird.
What is even this?
I don't know. Silver.
Boing. Why the camera's off?
I gain more memory power. My mind is not stressed.
You can say that intuition is the single detrimental factor. If you don't have intuition, if mankind did not have intuition, you would not make any breakthroughs.
Difference between an average sportsman and an extraordinary sportsman is just in the last one moment where you play intuitively. Because that fraction of a second decides the entire career of a sportsman.
Sometimes, the problems may appear big, but listening to the inner voice can give simple solutions. The leaps in civilization, from the greatest discoveries to the most celebrated works of art, relied not just on hard work, but also on intuition. Training in both these disciplines was an integral part of the ancient Indian education system. The time has come to embrace this, another gift of the art of living, to the world.
Amazing, isn't it? I see Malaika clapping because it's pretty mind-blowing. So what, according to you, is intuition? Parents, I'd love to hear from you. And you can just unmute yourself and say it out loud or put it into the chat.
Your gut feeling
Yes. Thank you. What else?
Your what? Yeah. What's your
What was that?
what your heart says? What you feel?
What you feel.
Able to anticipate things properly, accurately.
Yeah. Intuition gives you that ability to be able to anticipate things properly and accurately.
Your inner voice.
Your inner voice. Yes. So, there's three ways in which we receive knowledge in this world. One is through the senses, correct? You take a sip of tea, and the water is really hot, and you know that it's extremely hot. You touch something, you know it's ice cold. You touch something, you know it's very hot. Your senses give you knowledge, don't they? All the five senses bring knowledge to you. Through taste, through smell, through touch, etc. The other way we receive knowledge is through intellectual knowledge. And intellectual knowledge is superior to knowledge that we get from the five senses. Because as we know, the five senses can deceive us, isn't it? Your five senses will tell you that the sun rises and sets. But science has taught us that the sun neither rises nor sets. That it is the earth rotating around the sun. Have you ever put a pen in a glass of water, in half a glass of water, and what do you see? It appears that the pen has bent. But you know that the pen is not bent. It's simply the way the light and the water are reflecting each other. That is making the pen appear as if it's bent. So intellectual knowledge is superior to sensory knowledge. And then there's a third form of knowledge which is superior to both of these, and that is our intuitive knowledge. Now, intuitive knowledge goes beyond the senses, it goes beyond the intellect. For example, let's say you're talking to someone and you're thinking of entering into a business deal, or you're thinking of buying a car from them or something, and they're saying all the right words, everything is right that's coming out of their mouth. Intellectually, there's nothing on paper that says you should not go ahead with this person. But something in your gut tells you, no, don't move ahead. Have you ever had that kind of feeling? So that gut instinct, that inner voice, that intuitive voice is so powerful, it transcends the senses, it transcends the intellect. Intuition is getting the right thought at the right time. And we've all had the experience of getting the right thought at the wrong time. Right? Think of, all of us have this experience of you walked out of a test and oh my God, the answer was not A, it was B. Hasn't that happened? Can anyone think of another example of that? Getting the right thought at the wrong time. That's what we say, hindsight is 20/20, right? Because afterwards you're like, oh, that's what it should have been. We've also had the experience of getting the wrong thought at the right time. You need to decide which way to drive. Do I go this way or do I take the other road? Okay, I'll just take this way. And you run into a major traffic accident and then you're rushing through the airport. So the thought came at the right time, but it was the wrong thought. So intuition happens when your system is completely relaxed, such that you're able to go beyond the five senses and not rely on them. Intuition happens, one moment, thank you for that feedback. Is that better?
Perfect, perfect.
It happens when we are relaxed and in a good place and are able to trust our inner feeling. And think of all the ways in which intuition has guided you. I'm talking to the adults in this room. Can you think of examples in your life in which your intuitive feeling has guided you, your intuitive awareness? Maybe in taking a job, in making a move at the right time, you just knew that this is the right thing for me to do.
Yeah, sometimes we have lot of opportunities in our hand, but we think like what is good for us, what will be like comfortable job for us. Yeah, we think like that way. And
And
yeah,
intellectual thinking, it's not, analyzing, it's not that, it's beyond that. It's just knowing that this is the right thing for me to do. Like the example Tracy just gave of, taking a job, getting married to your husband or to your spouse. It's like this thing that just, it's not about what's on paper. It's about this is the right thing to do, that guides you and then leaps your life forward. You know it was an intuitive thought if it leads to success. That is the qualification for an intuitive thought. Now we have this program, as you know, called the Intuition process. And this program is designed specifically to help young people awaken that intuitive ability within. Now we all have that ability, but as we get older, it becomes harder and harder to access it many times. But when you're young, with the right guidance, that ability can awaken many, many things inside. So some of the activities that we have young people do uses a blindfold. If you've ever heard someone who was visually impaired speak, they say that all their other sharp senses are so much sharper. And we, because we're so reliant on our eyes, the other senses become duller and not as sharp. So one of the things that we do is we have them put on a blindfold, and then we help them discover their intuitive sense that goes, the sixth sense, you could call it, that goes beyond the other five senses. Would you like to see a demonstration of this? Okay, so Sanvi, can we begin with you, please? Where is Sanvi? Bio break. We'll go to Adya.
Adya is ready there.
Okay, Adya is ready. So we have two cameras. Can we highlight Adya and the other camera? So one thing we can do, Adya, can you show us the blindfold? So these are specially designed blindfolds that we have had specially designed. As you can see, the entire eye area is completely covered. And we also ask the children to close their eyes within the blindfold. So Adya, if you can go ahead and put your blindfold on. Once it's on, if you can tilt your head back a little so everyone can see that underneath also, you can see that the padding covers any space. So she can't see anything. Now, if I can have one person put in a shape into the chat. Adya's mother will read that. Go ahead, Malaika. Write into the chat a shape. And Monali will draw that shape down. And Adya will copy it, blindfolded. It's taking a minute to come up while Malaika puts her shape down. Maybe Arya, you can quickly write a shape in. Great. So Malaika has a shape. Monali, can you draw that shape, please? And make it darker so we can see. Yes. Great. Adya? Monali took Adya's hand, but I've seen Adya doesn't really need her hand guided. She knows exactly where to touch. Great. Excellent job, Adya. Now, Monali, if you can do the other shape that's come in. Good job, Adya. Very nice. And now if someone could send in a small word, just a small word, that Monali will then write. Okay, excellent. Yeah, turn it towards you so that the handwriting is nice. Great. Adya? Notice how her hands went there by, it could have gone anywhere on the board, but it went exactly there.
Sun.
Yes, correct. Very good. And now we'll have Sanvi share some abilities too. Big hand for Adya. Thank you, Adya. Adya is 9 years old and she took her intuition process workshop just a couple weeks ago.
Just July 25th, 4 days ago, 4 or 5 days.
This is Sanvi. Sanvi is 8 years old. And we have a couple books in front of Sanvi. Sanvi, can you put your blindfold on, please? Good girl. And now, can you show us the books, Himali? Himali, show us the books that are there. And what's the other book?
She wants to play tic-tac-toe first.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that as well, son.
Okay, why don't we do the drawing first? We'll do what the kids want to do. So first, go ahead and draw a picture. Okay, so they're going to play tic-tac-toe. And Sanvi, of course, as you can see, is blindfolded.
Mama, I'll give you the pen. Okay, right here, Sanvi.
And Mom is holding the other camera with her iPad as she plays with her. Okay, Mom, your turn.
Yeah.
Good job. Great. Let's do another tic-tac-toe board, but this time put it somewhere else, not in the center of the page. So on another sheet of paper. Can we use a new sheet of paper?
Okay, yeah, sure.
And remove this one completely. Yes. And put it in another place in the paper when you make the diagram.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, here is the pencil. Yeah.
And we know that Sanvi likes to be X's.
Okay.
You're trapped.
Oh.
Thanks, Sanvi.
You won, Sanvi. Yeah.
Excellent. Now let's pull up a book. And by the way, I just want to point out that notice how her hands intuitively went to where the board was set up on the paper. She just knew. So if you can show us a couple books, and then somebody can write which book they want her to read from.
Oh, book is, Sanvi, keep the word there. It will
If she
just
needs to take a little break, it's okay.
You want to try the puzzle?
No.
Huh? The 12 piece? Okay, she wants to try the pictures.
Okay, we'll do the pictures first.
Okay, let's do picture, okay.
In the course, both of these girls, we actually have drawings of them where they were given coloring pages, and they blindfolded knew which color to pick up amongst the crayons and where to color to match the colored page. So can we get a okay.
Okay.
Nice. I'm going to put down something for you to draw. Ready?
Okay. Yeah.
Actually, I should go with what first came to me. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Wait, Sanvi, I'll just draw from my side. And then
Himali has the added challenge of drawing with one hand as she holds the iPad so we can see what she's drawing. That's perfect.
Oh, yes. Okay. So I have drawn here.
She can do it. She'll do it. She'll do it herself.
Okay.
She'll do it herself. Got it, Tara. Thank you. Nice. Sanvi, you want to see what you did?
You want to see? Oh, good.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And now
So
she's doing mom's drawing too. Sanvi, can we move on to reading now? And then you can complete the drawing later. We'll just read one small little bit.
Yeah, I can read as well, just in case.
Okay. Oh, wait. So there are I have two books.
Okay, somebody write down the title of the book that you wanted to read from. Sanvi has chosen.
Oh, wait.
It's
okay. It's okay.
Okay, let her go with whatever she wants then.
Okay, yeah, you can start. You can read any page. Anything, yeah.
Okay. And yes, so everyone can see the words nicely. Thank you. Go ahead and read it.
We splash and laughter way down our breath.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you both, Adya and Sanvi.
Yeah, you want to try more? No, okay.
Good. And you can continue drawing on now by yourself with or without your blindfold as you wish. And we also have with us a couple of teenagers who have taken recent programs, and actually they've done it many times as well. So first we'd like to hear from Arya. Arya, can you share your experience?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to. So, hi, my name's Arya, and I'm 16, so I took it on the later end. But I just took this program about 2 to 3 weeks ago in Boone, and I will have to say that the process for me was very transformative, right? And so a lot of sometimes like the process works very similarly to like something like a almost like a tool, right? And if you are like a skill, right? You have to hone the skill, which comes with lots of practice. But I feel that I want to do my practice every day. I wake up with the desire to do my practice every single day because I felt the change in me, right? I felt more intuitive. There's certain things I've just become more aware about. For example, when I wake up, I just know where something might be and I might not even have seen it that day, right? For example, the TV remote might be in the living room, but where in the living room it could be random, but I would just know when I woke up just because of my intuition. And it came just because I practiced and it really felt that change in me ever since. And now I just feel the desire to keep practicing every day and hone my intuition further and further.
Thank you, Arya. So well spoken. Monish?
Hey, my name is Manish. I'm 15 years old. I did my first Intuition course 4 years ago in 2018. It was the first course outside of India. And I gotta say, intuition is something that's truly special, and we should all be very happy and privileged by the fact that we have this in our lives. I'm going to tell you a little story because I like storytelling. When I first got into high school in grade 9, I got into a music program in my school. I had no musical background, no nothing. I just wanted to take it because, you know, it was just an elective, I could pick it. So I'm like, okay, let's try this. And I got into my school and I saw that no one played trombone, and I don't know why I was attached to the trombone. Wasn't a good idea to pick it, trust me. No one else played it. I had no one to mentor me. I had no background. I didn't even know what the notes were. I couldn't make a sound. So on the first day, I was like really stressed and I was like, oh, I can't do this. I don't think I can continue. And then the very next day I went and I tried to play it. And if anyone knows how the trombone works, there's a slide and you have to stop it at a specific spot. It's like a violin. The notes are never the same. And it intuitively came to me like where to play, where to go, how fast to go. And even when playing like 8th, 16th notes, faster notes, I still was able to do it perfectly and have this nice tone that came out. And I went from being that one kid who could never make a sound with this trombone to someone who plays in 5 different bands, who's played on a national stage, who has professionals playing with him all the time. I'm so thankful for the intuition process. It's something that's brought my life from something that I thought I could never do, something that I simply wanted to do for fun, all the way to something that's almost become like a part of me. It's like a new hobby. It's like almost my career at this point to be doing music and playing it. And I never thought I would. And it's all thanks to intuition. So, yeah.
It's amazing. And you just started playing the trombone how many years ago?
It's been a year. So
a year.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really incredible. So, you know, as Arya and Manish have shared, it's not about you know, reading blindfolded and being able to pick up drawings and colors and all of this stuff. All of this activities are there to help develop these skills so that you move beyond the intellect, you move beyond the senses and start developing your intuitive abilities. But where it's really helpful is in life decisions, in being able to pick up skills, in being able to open up abilities that have been dormant inside of us. One of my friends, she's also an intuition teacher, and she shares about her son that her son loves math, like very advanced in mathematical skills, but he had no artistic inclinations whatsoever. And one thing she saw in him as a result of the intuition process is that he started developing his creative side. Like that completely transformed for him. Another parent had shared that her teenage daughter, you know how much drama there can be in middle school? Anyone who's raised teenagers can attest to this or is a teenager. Her daughter could just look past that drama and say, I don't know what my friends are so worked up about. Like she would not get entangled in it. And just yesterday, I found out that she started distancing herself from some friends of hers, just intuitively. And 2 weeks later, those friends got into some serious trouble at the school. You know, there's so many things that you can give your children. You give them Kumon classes and you give them swimming classes and this and that. Intuition is an investment in their education. This is an investment that lasts well beyond the time that you can be with them. In the early years, you may be taking as many decisions as you can for your kid, but we all know as parents that at some point they start taking their own decisions. Even in elementary school, you're not always there to guide them as to what friends to choose, what's the right thing to do at the right time. And this is where their intuitive abilities come in terms of what choices to make, who to be with, what's right for them, what college to go to, what to study, what job to choose. Can you imagine? It was said actually on that video that we saw in the beginning that with intuitive ability, everyone can be a genius. And how much mind space frees up if education is not spent just learning facts, memorizing facts rather, but being able to go beyond that. And we have seen that any innovation that has come up in this world has come from an intuitive space, whether it's in science, whether it's in the arts, in architecture, whether it's in food, whether it's in math, whether it's in anything, music. All innovation has come from an intuitive space. I was speaking not too long ago with someone who, the CEO of, I don't know exactly what he does, but he does like some kind of brain app kind of development. And he said, this is the cutting edge of what's needed in the world. And that made so much sense to me because if you think about it, at one point, physical strength gave you an edge, right? And then it became intellectual strength. Then you had the edge because now knowledge is at everyone's fingertips, but now knowledge is at everyone's fingertips. Now what can give your kids an edge is intuition. That inner voice guiding them to make the right decisions. One of the things that children have shared with us is that their fear has gone away. So think of all the things that kind of hold you back in your life. And also you can observe what's holding your children back. The inhibition, the fear of certain things, whatever it might be. And now imagine that being removed. So different abilities come up in different kids. But once having learned intuition, their abilities and their skills and everything else that we want in our children continues to develop. So there are three aspects to this course. One is the practices that they learn on the course. And right away, within those 2 days, just a few hours each day, we start seeing abilities, innate abilities within them awaken. The second aspect is the activities. So we do many activities, but we also train the parents so that you can continue certain activities with them so that they can continue to develop their skill. And the third, of course, is continued practice. We've seen the benefits of that, and we've seen how intuition continues to develop amazingly over time as you practice. Now, any questions you have for Shreya and myself? Okay, I can believe Arya and Manish experience it, but as an adult, I feel a little skeptical about reading blindfold. How is it possible? Can you explain it? Well, some studies are being done, but we have seen that, you know, we think that the only way that you can see is through the eyes, but you can actually see through other senses as well, including the sixth sense. And that ability opens up when the eyes are covered. So you've got these skills, you've got these techniques that they're learning, and then we remove this, crutch, and then the other skills, other abilities start opening up. Other ways of engaging in the five senses, in particular sight, beyond the eyes. Shreya, can you read the questions out loud? And
Sure.
Yeah.
The next question is, how many hours of practice is required after the course?
For adults, I imagine we probably need hours and hours of practice, but for them, it's not that long. So, Shreya, how long would you say it is for the juniors? And then how long for the seniors?
Yeah, it's not that long. I think about 20 minutes for the juniors and a maximum of 35, 40 minutes for the seniors.
And that time also is a time of deep rest for the kids that really refreshes them. So many of you I know have a meditation practice that are attending this program, and you know how deeply refreshing your meditation practice is. And that is what the kids feel as a result of doing their intuition as well. And we also know that they need downtime throughout the day. We can't just expect them to come home from school and jump straight into their homework without taking a little bit of a break, right? Having a snack, doing something else, and then they're fresh and they can go back to a more focused time. So intuition becomes that opportunity, their intuition technique, their intuition practice, to get that break, but then really recharge in a very super effective and efficient way that then gives them so much more with what they're tackling next. We've also seen kids being able to intuitively know what questions are coming up on the test, or to intuitively be able to answer them, even when something has come that they have not yet studied. What is the best time of day to practice? Is it okay to do it as the last thing before bed? So we will talk about those things on the course itself and give that guidance to the parents. Shreya, can you keep reading?
Yeah, so where do you get the blindfold? We bring you the blindfold. So these blindfolds are actually specially made for this program. And as you saw before, like how it covers from all sides. So yeah, we bring you the blindfold. What else is there? I want to know course date, location. Yeah, we'll give you that. We'll also email you that information. So do keep a lookout on your emails. Best time of the day. Yeah, that's covered on the course. It's not online. Intuition is only done in person, and that's why for the last couple of years we had a break because we didn't have anything in person. But now we're going back in person. So does it help kids with autism? Mona, do you want to answer this one, please?
Sure. We have seen that, and we've had parents come back and share how much it has helped them. A friend of mine was sharing the experience of working with a child who had ADD and was on the spectrum, and the child could not sit still. So here he is on the course. He's done his techniques, and now they're doing these activities. So in between, like every card reading, so they would have cards and that they would interpret. This kid had so much energy that he would have to run off and like run around the room and then come back and do this, read the cards. So the kid on the spectrum kept picking up what was on the cards. And he couldn't believe that he was picking it up so easily, so much so that he ended up crying. And he told the teacher that I never get anything right, but here I'm getting things right. Because we have so many abilities that we have not yet accessed. And this gives an opportunity for us to access more of those abilities that may even not be traditionally recognized, but can be very beneficial to one's life and to leading a smoother life.
Absolutely. Alexandra, your hand is up. Do you want to unmute? Yeah.
Yeah, I had a question. So I was my son was asking me questions about this course, and I didn't really know what to say. But he became very, like, he refused. He was very sort of angry and resistant to it. And I was just wondering, is that like an intuition? Should I just drop it? Like, what should I tell him? Like, what can I possibly do to sort of encourage him to do it?
You know, I don't think that's intuition for sure. I think that's, you know, having been put in many programs where it then becomes a struggle to, and, you know, I understand your child is, you know, so it can be a struggle. It can be more things I have to fight to get right, etc. So, and this is not that kind of program. This is a program that can actually help and make the way for him smoother and easier. And in terms of how to get him on the program, you know, I kind of feel like there's some things that we can say as parents, that some things they need to just do. And some things we can compromise on, and then some things are kind of non-negotiables in our life and in our families. For example, in our family growing up, whenever there was a birthday, that was like non-negotiable, that everybody had to be free because the family would spend that day together with the person who had the birthday, that kind of thing. So that is one thing. But then, Alexandra, you know your child better than anyone else. So whether it means giving them a reward or, you know, in terms of like some experience that they've been wanting to do, just you do this, you do the practice for X number of days, and we'll go to, you know, the waterfall or the park or whatever it might be that is appealing to them. But you're the parent, and you know better than we do as to how to engage your child in terms of getting them to say yes.
Okay.
And from our side, once they're in the room, we start with games and fun and really help the kids relax so that they can, because that's when intuition comes.
Thanks.
And that partly covers the next question, which is what exactly do kids do during the session? So like Mona had said earlier, you know, your intuition comes up best when you're happy and when you're completely relaxed, right? So everything we do with the kids in the room is towards that. It's nothing to stress them out at all. It's the exact opposite, which is why you see these kind of results. I don't know what solfeggio things, frequencies are, but yeah. Do parents have to attend the course with your 8-year-old? So there's a part of so out of the 2 hours, 2.5 hours, there's a part of it where they're with us alone. And then there's a part of it towards the end where you come in around the last 30 to 40 minutes. So yeah, you do get to sit with them for a part of it. How much practice for 6.5 normally? Yeah, so per day it's about 20-minute practice. We don't have it in Edmonton just yet, but there will be a course in Calgary. You'll be sent the details for it. Sessions days, 2 days, 2.5 hours, 2 to 2.5 hours, depending on how big the course is with how many kids. Okay, we go to Vancouver. Yes, there is a course coming to Vancouver in October, Calgary in September, event planner. Yeah. Okay, Arizona, I think there's a course coming. Yeah.
Yes, correct. In September.
Yes, kids with limited speech, they can be part of the program.
But it's good for you to speak to one of us afterwards so that we can more understand about your child and can guide accordingly.
If kids do not practice, then do they lose it?
So you don't lose your abilities, but you continue to develop them far beyond what you initially gained with practice. So for example, I remember I was teaching a 5-year-old and the kid wasn't really getting, you know, things. And I was thinking, I wonder if 5 is too young for us to do. 2 weeks later, when we had our follow-up, he nailed everything. Everything he could do with his eyes open, he could do with the blindfold on. I was astounded. There's a question about Detroit. Please see us offline so that we can get your contact information. And a course can be organized in Detroit. And you can help us with that organization. And we can also connect with the teachers in that area to organize a course for you. Shreya, do you have anything in Windsor?
Yeah, so we'll be, right now, there isn't one, but we can organize one, yes.
Okay. So either in Detroit or Windsor, we can work with you to organize a course. I imagine Detroit will just be easier because you're there, and we can definitely put that together. And we will be sharing the dates for the Calgary session. So we have someone in London.
Yeah, follow-up. So we're planning to do one follow-up a month right now, and it'll be online. This is for Canada. For the US, it might be different.
So we will do online follow-ups, which Ranjana has been so good about keeping going from Atlanta. And for the city in which I am living in, which is now in the Phoenix Valley area, we will be doing in-person follow-ups.
Okay, I think that's all the questions.
Would any of the parents like to share anything to close? Oh, Joshi, you have a question.
Hi. Actually, my daughter is 5 years old. She's very she's very active, and it's very hard for me to make her do one activity continuous. Like she gets very fed up, and I have to change the activity, make her do something else, and then make her do something else. She cannot like play with one thing, not even for like 15 minutes at one go. The only thing that she keeps her, entertained for long is, of course, when she's playing with the blocks. Otherwise, other things she gets fed up really quick. So I was wondering if ever she goes for this Intuition course, like she's 5 years, will she be able to sit and listen to what guidance you're giving, and how does it go with kids who are like
for a 5-year-old to do anything for 15 minutes, I think is remarkable.
Okay.
And keeping that in mind, we keep things very dynamic in the class.
Mm-hmm.
So that we're constantly moving from activity to activity, and each child is also given personal attention. They're working in small groups with an instructor who is supporting us as we're doing these courses. So all of that is there, and they're taken care of. And we've also seen as, one group like masters something, then we'll create something else for them to engage in, while another group is still working on this. So we keep it very dynamic and fluid so that we can really support the kids where they are.
Okay, that's very reassuring, because I want her to go for this course, but I was just wondering, whether she will be able to sit, whether she'll be able to, to listen and, cooperate. So yeah, that's very reassuring. Thank you.
Monali, would you like to share maybe 2 lines?
Sure. Yeah, it was an amazing experience, and I really would like to thank Shreya. 2 days she organized it. It was really good. I have seen a big change in Adya, because earlier she used to read, and it was the pace with which she's reading now, the text has increased. I have seen clarity in her. She's confident. Yeah, there is a difference. And it's just 5 days. They completed July 25th, 26th. Yeah, it was so amazing. Thank you so much.
Super, thank you. Okay. Yeah, the Edmonton, not in Edmonton, but we are coming to Calgary. So yes, we will send you details about that. Yeah, I think should we?
Binti, I think Binti wanted to share an experience with her kids.
So my daughter took the course when she was in high school, and she did not have time to really practice and hone her skills. So I think somebody had a question about, do they lose the skills? And that was my worry, that, you know, she doesn't practice. I don't know how she's going to do with it. And I have not really, knowing how busy she was, I have not really pushed her as well. But yesterday I was talking to her and asking her, what do you think is your experience with the intuition process? How is it going for you? And she said that the right thoughts are coming at the right time for her. And that was really like, you know, a relief for me in a way, because I had never asked her, knowing that she is not practicing it and not wanting to push her to do more than what she is. And I would like to share that during middle school, I had moved her to a much more challenging academic school. And every night there was this thing about, oh, I should have finished my schooling with my previous school. I miss my friends. Of course, the academics were a challenge. And, you know, it was the usual teenage drama that happened every single night. Lo and behold, that summer when she did the Intuition program, one thing that I did not expect at all from that happened, and that she came back a happier kid. You know, I mean, somewhere, something in her just kind of melted away. That resistance to that new school that had been going on for so long suddenly just kind of went away. And since then, I haven't heard her complaining about being in that school and, you know, changing to that school. So a lot of things can happen and change. As much as they're talking about kids reading blindfold and, you know, being able to draw and everything else, but I'm telling you, her confidence has suddenly changed. The way she will talk to somebody. I'll give you an example. I went for an eye exam with her the other day. This is a very shy, timid kid. And usually if she has to ask something, she would tell me to ask the doctor. This past eye exam that we went for, I was just sitting there and she was asking questions to her doctor. Have you heard about these lenses? How do they work? Have you had success with them? And I was just shocked because obviously I did not see it coming. So there are a lot more benefits to doing these programs besides just what we think or what we are expecting from the program. So I thought that might be something very valuable for parents to know.
That's so well put. Like, so many benefits that we can't anticipate as parents that will come up in the kids. Sheetal, you've had your hand up for a while, and then Ranjana.
First of all, thank you. Thank you, everybody. I have two kids that are 4 years apart, and they both are not teenagers yet, but they still tend to very fight and they compete with each other many times. So my question is, do you advise both the kids to do it together or have them separate? We are in New Jersey, so I was hoping it's available in New Jersey or New York.
We have teachers in New York and I think in Jersey as well, but definitely in New York City, we have teachers. And yes, they can do the course together and it's fine. You know, as parents, you see one side of their interaction, but they have a completely different dynamic that's beyond what you see. And I'm telling you, like the little one, as far as the older one's concerned, that's the person he actually looks up to probably the most as well. So it's fine.
And the other question I had was, they both have not done Sky Kids program yet, and I understand they can do either or. is it advisable, like do both of these practices are something they can do together, they kind of sync together, or whichever the chooses to do doesn't matter?
They sync together, and they have different different things come up with different practices. So this one is very much focused on intuition, whereas the Sky Kids and Sky Teens programs is for overall wellness, stress management, emotional management, all of those things. So both are helpful to do. And I would just sign them up as soon as you can for both programs, both the Intuition and the Sky Kids. And also doing it together can actually bring the kids closer together as well, like it does with adults.
And it doesn't matter what time and whenever they find and whenever they choose to do is what
we will let you
do.
We will share all of those details on the course. Monish, I think you wanted to give an answer to something.
I wanted to say two things. I'm not a parent, but I'm a student. I've done Intuition for 4 years. I honestly never really was, a fan of the blindfold thing. I can never really get it. And, I was kind of frustrated for some time because like, oh, I wanted to do this course so I can read people's minds, see through things and do stuff like that. I'm like, no. But really, it's not about that. It's more about the values and the things that you learn to become a better person. You have like your children, I don't want to put it in like a wrong way, but they're like metal and they get cast into a mold, and that's the values, that the mold is the values, and they're getting poured into that and turned into a big piece of metal, very nice piece of metal. And then we have teachers like Auntie here who sculpt them into a nice sculpture, a nice person, an ideal person. And that's why this intuition process is so important, because it's not about being able to read with a blindfold. It's not about being a good musician. It's not about any of that. It's just about being yourself and a better you than you were before.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Manish, I would like, if that was my conclusion, I would just end there. It was so perfect. Ranjana, you wanted to share? And then we'll close after that and share the upcoming courses with you.
Sure. Hi, everyone. So I'm a mother of 3 children, and all my 3 children have done the Intuition program. And I would like to share the experience with my son. My eldest son, he is now a 9th grader, and he took Intuition a couple of years ago, and he has been practicing the program since then. So with him, all the blindfolding stuff never works. So, but he does this practice regularly, and what I've noticed is how he has changed so much emotionally and socially. Before, as a kid, he used to be a very, I would say, an indecisive child, because he used to throw tantrums, whatnot. Yeah, he would pick something, he would say that, no, this doesn't work, I would like to do that. And, the whole drama happens. And we as parents are like, okay, I mean, each time we decide for him, there is a drama. So he is not at all satisfied with whatever choice that he makes. But now he has this ability, or this thing of making the right decision coming up. Now he not only makes a decision himself, but also helps his siblings, his brother and sister, do the right decision. So, one job lesser for me. So I always, assign the tasks to him, so that, he helps his brother and sister also come up with this decision. And the way he has evolved socially and emotionally, it's so beautiful. Like, rather than me noticing, I would say it's the friends of his parents. Look, when he goes to their home, they notice a change and they ask me, what do you do? I mean, what does he's so calm and centered? What do you actually do with him? What does he do? So, and I don't have to tell them anything, but they actually find out the programs and enroll their kids. Because as a mom of teenager, I always had this fear in my mind. Okay, what am I going to? I mean, how are they going to face these challenges? But now with this program, I say, this fear is not there anymore, because this program lays a very strong foundation in their through their childhood to their adulthood. Like, no matter in whatever aspects of their life, socially, emotionally, academically, they just evolve, and it's such a beautiful program. Yeah, thanks Mona Didi for this opportunity.
Thank you, Ranjana, for sharing. And what more do we want? As one of the parents wrote in the text messages, what more do we want? So Jalpa, can you please share the upcoming course information? And the parent that's in Detroit, if you can contact Jalpa, and we can then work on, getting something to you in your area.
So these are the upcoming workshops. So in USA, we have a Connecticut, August 18th to 19th for both the kids, junior and senior. We also have in Phoenix, Arizona, September 10 to 12 for both groups of kids. And in Atlanta, we have in October 15 to 16. Currently, it's only announced for the senior kids. And in Canada, as earlier Shreya had shared, it's in Montreal, Calgary, and Vancouver. And these are the dates. And we'll share the links for you to register for these workshops by email. That'll be easier for you. And also, all these workshops are in person. Yeah.
And, of course, you'll sign up your kids, but also share it with your kids' friends, because the more people they have in their life making the right decisions at the right time, the better it is, of course, for your child as well as for everyone. Thank you, everybody. And we look forward to meeting your kids soon.
You.
Good evening, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome.